Well, first of all, welcome to the Glass City Metro Park for a truly historic and exciting announcement. We're here to announce something that is a first. It's an international first, and I believe it is a wonderful and logical next step after the success we enjoyed with the Solheim Cup last summer. So we will get into the announcements and the logistics shortly, but first we wanted to hear from 𝗦𝗫𝗵𝗵𝗫𝗍𝗫. Okay, I will defer to that pronunciation over mine. She is an internationally renowned opera singer. She will be performing at this event we are soon to announce, but she joins us with a video of the national anthem.
Yep. May I explain the video?
Sure.
The video belonged to the Italian Bowl 2013, when Mariam was breathtaking, and it was only an audio test. It was 2013 when we organized the Italian Bowl in Ferrara, my hometown, and at that age she was not a singer, a professional singer. She was a starting voice, and she was the free safety of our female football team. So when I asked her to be here next July, she said, for sure, I'll already call my agent, I block the week, and I'll be there for you.
Wonderful. Next July, I believe it's July 2nd, but if I'm wrong, I'll be corrected very soon. The Super Bowl of Italian football will be held in Toledo at the Glass Bowl. Yes, one person knows it. Yes. All right.
They asked me to translate because we are live on Italian in streaming.
Okay.
L'annuncio da parte del sindaco Wade è che ufficialmente il prossimo 2 di luglio 2023, la finale del primo luglio 2023, la finale del campionato italiano di quello che noi chiamiamo football americano sarà celebrata al Glass Bowl Stadium di Toledo, Ohio.
We are talking about American football. The brand of football that's played in the United States, not what the rest of the world knows as football, but American football.
Parliamo di quello che noi in Italia chiamiamo football americano, quello che nel resto del mondo è conosciuto come football, ma in Italia il calcio, il soccer è una religione, quindi abbiamo dovuto chiamarlo diversamente, lo chiamiamo football americano.
American football is big in Europe. There are leagues all throughout Europe. all the countries of Europe, but including Italy.
Il football americano è uno sport praticato in tutta Europa, è uno sport di nicchia, ma è comunque molto diffuso anche in Italia.
And roughly 42 years ago, since as you can see from the logo, this is the 42nd championship. I think trademark, we're not allowed to say Super Bowl, but nonetheless. Roughly 42 years ago, when Dan Marino and Joe Montana met in the Super Bowl, the Italian heritage of those two quarterbacks piqued the interest of Italians, and they really began to get into the sport of American football.
Circa 42 anni fa in Italia, quando Dan Marino da una parte e Joe Montana dall'altra guidavano le loro squadre e giocavano contro, l'Italian heritage di questi due personaggi ha fatto sì che nascesse un interesse per il football americano anche in Italia.
So as Toledo has developed its relationship with our new sister city in Ferrara, and we're joined this week by the mayor and a delegation from in fact he is here in the front row, if you want to stand, Mayor 𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗁. As we've developed that relationship, many of the people up here that we'll be hearing from have also been working with officials of the Italian Sports Foundation to build the relationship that we're ready to announce today.
Sotto l'egida del gemellaggio tra le città di Toledo e le città di Ferrara, che verrà risottoscritto dopo essere stato sottoscritto a Ferrara grazie alla presenza del sindaco Alan Fabbri qua a Toledo, essendo sicuramente lo sport uno dei campi dove è utile e bello creare interscambio culturale, abbiamo pensato proprio di creare l'opportunità di portare qua la finale.
So the first 41 Italian Super Bowls have been played in Italy. The 42nd will be played in the United States for the first time. And this is a big deal for the Italian League. They are seeking and will be receiving international exposure to their sport. And as the mayor of Toledo, I can say this is a big deal for us to be the city that will host this first international expansion and put the sport on an international platform.
Quindi dopo 41 edizioni del Super Bowl, della finale del campionato italiano giocate in Italia, per la prima volta la finale viene giocata all'estero, negli Stati Uniti, a Toledo, proprio dove è nato il football americano, e ci sembrava la maniera giusta di incominciare a fare qualcosa di concreto sotto l'egida del gemellaggio. Aggiungo una cosa che non ha detto il sindaco, poi ve la traduco: la successiva edizione della finale verrà invece celebrata a Ferrara, tornerà a Ferrara dopo 10 anni, grazie al supporto del sindaco Fabbri e del presidente della squadra di calcio di Ferrara, 𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗵𝗏, che ha dato sua grande disponibilità. I had one thing, that the next edition, the 43 edition, will be celebrated in 2044 in Ferrara, thanks to the support of the city, support of Alan Fabbri, and support of the owner of the soccer team that will give the stadium, Mr. 𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗏𝗏, which is an American citizen, Brooklyn born.
Excellent use of the word soccer for my benefit. So there are logistics to discuss and announce, and we're going to get to that right now. You're going to see international guests in our city, thousands of them right in the sort of the days leading up to the 4th of July holiday. The teams will be staying on campus. We see officials here from the University of Toledo. Of course, the game will be at the Glass Bowl. We have events for these days planned, business exchanges, symposiums, some field trips to football-related amenities in the general area. And we have representatives from Buckeye here because they have the international rights to broadcast the game live back in Italy. I think the game is at 2 o'clock here, so that it'll be in prime time in Italy.
Quindi nel primo weekend di luglio del prossimo anno avremo un sacco di ospiti internazionali che arriveranno in questa città. La partita di football sarà solo il preludio a tutte le celebrazioni per il 4 di luglio. Le squadre saranno ospitate dal campus dell'Università di Toledo e ovviamente la partita verrà celebrata presso il Glasgow Stadium dei Toledo Rockets.
So I am going to turn it over to Edoardo from the Italian Federation of American Football. He's a board member. I'll say as I yield the mic that this league is made up of both Italians and Americans. There are American players on these teams. I think there's a limit of number of Americans per team. But there are faces. This is an opportunity for for the Italian league to gain an international audience. But this is an opportunity for us to, we Americans will see players that we know and faces we know. Rob Sims, former Ohio State Buckeye and Detroit Lion, is involved with this. Calvin Johnson is, but you know, Calvin Johnson, okay, is a part. I had to get permission to say there are the players in this league. Some of the coaches, Art Briles, we might remember, was the coach of Baylor. You know, there are some. This league has an American flair as well. So I just think it's a wonderful partnership between our countries in a way to grow the sport, publicize our city, and just old-fashioned have some fun in the days leading up to the 4th of July. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Edoardo from the Federation, and he'll talk a little more.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Edoardo Cammi from Italian Football Federation and also GM of 𝗦𝗽Ce football team. First of all, I want to thank you, Mayor of Toledo, 𝗦𝗽Ce 𝗶𝘀 and everyone that is working hard with us to bring the Italian ball here in Toledo. That is an amazing, huge opportunity for the Italian Football League, and we hope to have a great event next year. Prima di tutto vorrei ringraziare il sindaco di Toledo, 𝗦𝗽Ce 𝗶𝘀, Jeff from Buckeye, and everyone that is really working hard. Sorry. e tutti quelli che stanno. I'm confused. Jet lag is a little bit bringing me. Quindi stavo traducendo, stavo ringraziando tutti quelli che ci danno l'opportunità di essere qui e di portare questo evento negli Stati Uniti, che è un'opportunità incredibile per l'Italian Football League e per la federazione. As the Mayor said, it's the first time that an European final game will be played in the US. We see the NFL bring a game international, like we have 2 games in London this year, 1 game in Germany, 1 game in Mexico. NCAA will have international games, as Notre Dame will play in Ireland, but it's the first time that an European championship game will be played in the US, and it's again an amazing opportunity to get exposure to European football leagues. Traducite, che mi sembra più facile quello che ha detto.
Però mi sono distratto.
Ok, allora le prossime parti le tradurrà Raffaello per me, almeno non mi confondo. Comunque ho semplicemente ribadito il concetto che è la prima volta che una finale di un campionato europeo viene a giocare negli Stati Uniti, e quindi è un'opportunità incredibile per guadagnare ancora più exposure, ancora più pubblicità a tutte le leghe europee, in particolare alla Federazione Italiana e alla Italian Football League. It's an amazing opportunity also for the Italian football player and for everyone that plays for the Italian teams. It's a dream for those players. As GM of the 𝗦𝗽Ce team, that is the 2022 Italian football champion, I've talked to the guys and everyone is really excited to have this opportunity. They are starting the off-season program this week and they are working hard to play, to have the opportunity to play. And we have talked to all the owner of the teams this week, and it's an exciting opportunity. Everyone is really doing a little bit more extra effort to try to reach this goal. The competition will be higher, I think, this year. the level of the Italian football is growing, and everyone who saw the last 3 Italian Bowls, I think, was excited for the outcome of the game. And as the mayor said, we have 3 American players for each team, former NFL player, former D1 player. The level of the game is pretty good, and everyone is excited.
Dunque, sarà sicuramente una grandissima opportunità per tutto il movimento del football americano italiano e anche principalmente per i giocatori. Come general manager dei 𝗦𝗫𝗶𝗵, quando ha dato la notizia ai giocatori, ha visto reazioni di entusiasmo, per cui tutti i giocatori sicuramente fanno del loro meglio iniziando la stagione con un programma che vede la possibilità, vincendo la semifinale, di venire per una settimana negli Stati Uniti e giocare nella patria del football americano. Quindi questo sicuramente contribuirà ad innalzare il livello tecnico del campionato italiano, che è già un buon livello. Ci sono giocatori americani, effettivamente 3 per squadra, che vengono da università di prima e seconda divisione, e quindi non può che essere un grande evento e portare un grande beneficio a tutto il football americano italiano.
I'm done. If you have any question, I'm good with it.
Oh, it's my turn? Okay. Sister City Agreement talks about friendship, and all this situation, the Sister City Agreement and the Italian Football Championship in Toledo, starts with a friendship born on football fields, on what we call American football field, between me and Nick. Nick is an entrepreneur living in Toledo and moving to Toledo 3 years ago, but in Italy is a football legend. He's by far the best quarterback that ever played in our championship. There's a novel written by 𝗦𝗫𝗶𝗵𝘵 𝗡𝗶𝗴𝗵𝗵𝗁. This is called Playing for Pizza. The name of the book is because the players of the Italian league play for free. More of the time they pay their costs in order to play. They train like pro, but they pay to play. And at the end of the season, if they win the championship, the president or the owner of the team pay for the pizza. That's the reason of the name. And the novel is partly fictionary, but partly based on true sport facts. And it talks about an Hail Mary pass ending a 72 games winning streak by a team in Bergamo, in the north of Italy, that really doomed the Italian championship for 10 years in a row. And the Hail Mary pass, which in the book is thrown by a quarterback from NFL from Cincinnati, but the real person who threw the pass is Nick. So if we are here today is because to play football, training like a pro and paying to play, you must be a little bit crazy. I'm crazy because I'm a former football player of my hometown teams, which is the 𝗦𝗫𝗶𝗵𝗵 of Italy, the 𝗦𝗫𝗶𝗵 of Ferrara, and he's crazy too. And from other crazy minds, it comes out the idea to try to take the final in United States, in Toledo, under the umbrella of the Sister City Agreement. So it's a long story because the COVID really slowed up the process. So it's like 3 years or more than we are working on that. And today is a great day because sometimes dreams come true. I will translate in Italy when I go back to Italy. Okay? Joe.
Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I have to tell you, I'm Jeff Shook. I'm president of Buckeye Broadband. I represent Block Communications. We are thoroughly excited to work with Nick as kind of founding members of the organization responsible for bringing this event to Toledo. There's a level of excitement that I have for this event, having had the opportunity to view some of the games. Last year, as we started our initial conversations about bringing the championship game to Toledo, we began on BCSN producing the game of the week. And we would have it sent to us, we translated it, and then we would air it on BCSN. We will do that again this year. Our goal is to create some awareness We have a couple of other plans as to how we're going to generate greater awareness as well. So I've been asked by people in my organization, why the Italian football? And I will tell you that, and the mayor hit on this just dead center. It puts us on an international stage. I believe it helps continue to elevate Toledo across not just our neighborhood, not just our state and our area, but it puts us again on a global stage. I'm excited about that. And I think that those are the things that draws attention to our areas and helps to highlight all the other wonderful things that we have going for us in Toledo. We are proud to not just be a part of the organization that is helping to bring this, but we're also a sponsor. And for those very reasons. So if there are other business leaders out there that would like to join us in our efforts to make this the world-class event that I know it can be, that we know it can be, then I would invite you to go to our website. It's www.ItalianBowlUSA.com, and there's opportunities for you to establish some interest there, and I would appreciate that. So my goal was to be brief, and the people I work with would say this is a record. So with that, I do want to turn this over to Nick Ide. Nick came to our organization 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, with an idea. And through a lot of hard work, a lot of sweat, some elevated voices, we have been able to put together what I think is an excellent plan. So Nick?
I'm also going to be brief. I'm going to give some closing remarks. Before I do that, I'm going to put Rob on the spot here for a second. I think just having him here, Rob came to the Italian Bowl with Calvin Johnson in 2017, so I would like for you to hear a little bit from Rob about that experience in 2017 and kind of how a former NFL player, a national champion at Ohio State, had this experience in Italy. And so I'm going to put you on the spot and turn that over to you for a second.
Man, I was hoping I was going to be able to speak. I'm just standing up there looking all pretty, and it's tough. But for those that don't know me, I am Rob Sims. I had the honor of playing for The Ohio State University, and our Buckeyes on the 2002 championship team. I also played for the Seattle Seahawks and was able to play for the Detroit Lions. On top of that, my father was a Cleveland Brown back in the late 70s, and my father-in-law is Tony Nathan, who went to Alabama, Roll Tide, and also played his career for the Dolphins, coached in the NFL for a long time. So football is very much a part of my life. It's been a part of my family's life for generations at this point. And the opportunity I had to go over to Italy and see the game in its purest form. We talk about playing for pizza, right? I come from a place where we play for a little bit more than pizza, right? But I still see the same passion, the same pride, the same fury that you need to play with to be a great football player. So seeing that over there in 2017 has made me a fan of the Italian Football League. I actually got to do some pregame for the game of the week this year. Really proud of the work that we're doing there and starting there. But I think the most thing I'm excited about is the players that are playing American football getting a chance to come over and see the way we do things over here, right? And maybe they get a chance to go to Tony Pacco's like I'll probably do after this and go get a hot dog or two, and really just see where football was born, and born in this great state of Ohio. And so proud to be from Ohio and get a chance to see Toledo on Spotlight and see the Italian Football League on Spotlight. So just happy to be a part of it. And Nick, thanks for the opportunity.
As I said, I'm going to be brief. I want to thank everybody for coming. But there are a couple things I want to just point out. As Raffaello mentioned, I moved to Toledo 3 years ago. I'd been working for probably almost 12, 13 years on what some might have considered another crazy project that has turned out to be a very nice a project for the business and being here and being in Toledo. And so that was the redevelopment of the former fiberglass tower into the tower in the 𝗲𝗵. So there are a couple things I've noticed in living in Italy for a long time and now being in Toledo, and particularly with this project and seeing the history. And there's something that's just a synergy, and it ties into this event, and it is Toledo has been on the cutting edge of things, whether it's the glass industry, whether it's the creation of the Jeep and these things, and not being afraid to say, let's try this, let's do this. We were the first city here in Toledo to have a sister city relationship with Toledo, Spain. And Wade, what year?
1931.
1931. And Wade gave me this history lesson, and it's important because it's important for where we are today. Wade recounted this story in Rome at the Olympic Sports Center and said, you know, in 1931, Toledo was not afraid, coming out of a really difficult portion in American history and world history, to say, you know what, we've been through some hard times, we're still going through some hard times, but we're not afraid to reach out and find friends, get beyond isolationist ideas, and let's make friends with the world. Well, we're coming out of COVID, there's still a lot of fear, there's still different things happening, and Toledo's doing it again, saying, you know what, we're going to reach out, we're going to make friends, we're going to try to do some things that are different, some new things, and try something new. Italy, as we all know in history, they've been doing that as well in different towns, in different areas, whether it's automobiles, whether it's aerospace, whether it's all these different areas that Italy is on the cutting edge of things. And so to see the synergy come together and to be a part of it with a team here, and I'm going to do the thank yous in a second, but there's a team here that every person that I went to, and it's a Toledo can-do attitude, was like, you know what? Because it is not your normal idea, but every person I can tell you that I've approached and one, let's try to make this happen. And they didn't stop working, and there have been obstacles, and there was COVID, and there was many other things that got in the way of all this, but we're here. And so there are a lot of thank yous. I'm going to start doing that quickly. I do want to recognize 𝗦𝗽cie𝗿𝘆, who is our Italian consulate out of Detroit. She's here. And even though she's not in Toledo, this is her area, and she was an immediate champion, and she has been great, and she has a vision of this relationship between Italy and Detroit, Toledo, this area, and kind of sending new messages and doing new things as well. So thank you for being here. I have to say, obviously, thank you to 𝗦𝗽cie and Jim Hartung. Lou has been a huge voice of support for this, and wouldn't be here without him. Jim, your effort on the sister cities has been great, and so appreciate that. It's great having Eduardo and Fabio from the Federation. They have been excited about this project. Also excellent having the Mayor Fabbri from Ferrara here. And I want to also recognize Pat Nowak as well. She jumped on board and has been a great asset for us as well. Thank you, Mayor 𝗻𝗁𝗃𝗃. I mean, again, another person who just said, we can make this happen, this is a great idea, we're going to do this. Rob and Calvin, coming to the 2017 game, falling in love with Italy, falling in love with football, American football in a different way. Just wonderful, and so thankful to have their involvement in this project. Jeff Shook and Alan Block from BCSN, again, I mean, you know, there's resolve there with that, with Jeff and his approach to things, that has just been a difference maker as we've gotten to this point. So really appreciate them being involved and having their involvement as well. And lastly, but certainly not least, Raffaello, you know, from day one, has just been someone who has been a part of this project, dreaming about it, came out of his idea. He fell in love with Toledo on his first trip here, and we started brainstorming about ideas and this possibility and that possibility, and we've developed some relationships now between Ferrara, both the cities and the universities as well, which I also want to mention Athletic Director Blair, who's here and new to the position but jumped on board and said, what can I do? And it's been great getting to know him, and his vision about college football and hopefully eventually Italian football is very similar to my own, so it's been a pleasure getting to know him as well. So with that, I hope I was somewhat brief, but thank you all for being here, and again, this is going to be an exciting event for Toledo.
All right, so we'll open it up for questions, but I guess just to sort of wrap up, and I knew that I might have had the date off by a day. Let's just go for the logistics. This championship game is going to be Saturday, July 1st. I thought it was, anyhow. Saturday, July 1st, 2 o'clock at the Glass Bowl, a time chosen so that this could be airing in prime time on Buckeye, back in Italy. The delegation is going to arrive, I think, the Tuesday or Wednesday before that, which would make it June 27th or 28th. We'll be releasing a schedule of activities There's going to be a field trip to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. There's a notion that maybe, whether it's the Browns or the Lions, to visit Berea or Allen Park, where those NFL teams train. As a lifelong Lions fan, I can say I don't know that we want to expose these poor folks to the brand of football that is taught up in Detroit. But I've been a fan since 1979, so I have scar tissue as deep as you can have with those guys. But there will be business forums, other public events, and again, these are the days leading up to the 4th of July. This is going to be fun, Toledo. This is going to be fun. We all had fun with the Solheim Cup. This is going to be this is the next sort of step in making sure that people understand what a fun, wonderful place Toledo can be. This is great for tourism. It's great for economic development, and it's great for the Italian League. Look, they crave the international exposure of having their championship game in America. Wow, these are folks who love the game so much they literally play for pizza. We keep talking about the John Grisham book, but there's a John Grisham book modeled after his life, which you can decide if you want a lawsuit later. It's up to you, but they love it. And this is a big deal for them to have their championship in America. Why Toledo? Why is it intuitive for them to have this in Toledo? We talked about that when we were in Rome last November. And I think there's two answers to that, and then we'll be done. One, as Rob mentioned, this is the part of America where the sport was born. The sport of football was born in Ohio. It was a recreational activity for coal miners, actually. More in the eastern part of Ohio, but Ohio nonetheless. They would go down in the mines, and they'd take breaks. They start kicking and throwing a little ball around, and that's where the sport was born. That's why the Hall of Fame's in Canton. The forward pass was invented on the beaches at Cedar Point. Rob, I'm not sure if you knew that. It is true. And who did? Knute Rockne. Knute Rockne was a lifeguard. He'd come back from Notre Dame in the summers, and he would lifeguard at Cedar Point. And while there, he kind of, what happens if you throw the ball forward? That's where the forward pass is. There's a historical marker on the beach at Cedar Point. So the roots of the sport are here. But the other reason, why Toledo? Why not Toledo? Why not? We asked. we got our foot in the door, and we said, we'll do it. We can do it. And I think there is something about that can-do attitude that is also worth celebrating. It is true. The first sister-city relationship in the history of the world was formed by Toledo and our namesake in Spain in 1931. And I have told the story, and I did tell it in Rome last year. Think of the world 1931. The period between the wars, the Depression, people are turning inward. Not Toledo. We were looking out across the oceans, looking for friends, looking for partnerships, looking to build bridges. That's what this is about. This is about partnerships. This is about business. There are business leaders in this town with names like Joe Napoli and Pat Gianmarco and 𝗦𝗽cie. There is a network of folks that have helped make this happen. But at the end of the day, it's also about fun. This is going to be fun. Let's have fun next June and July. Welcome the thousands of friends and guests from Italy, and show them a good time. We're going to have a fun time with this. So that brings us to the end. I don't know if there's any larger questions from the group, or if we can just do them one-on-one, but one way or another, we are thankful for everyone being here. We're looking forward to a great time next summer. I think that's it. I guess we're wrapping up. All right. So, yeah.